You probably think Stranger Things is just another great show. You know, fantasy, monsters, a creepy alternate dimension. But what if I told you it wasn't created out of nothing? That it was actually built on real experiments, real fears, and some very real, very dark moments in human history. I'm not talking about the Demogorgon. I'm not talking about actual portals to other worlds. I'm talking about the intention behind them. The human element. To understand this, we have to go back in time to the Cold War. During this period, governments weren't just obsessed with land or weapons. They were obsessed with something far more elusive: control. Specifically, control over the human mind. In 1953, the CIA launched a top-secret classified program called MKUltra. Now, this isn't speculation or a fan theory. This is documented history. You can look it up. The goal of this program was as simple as it was disturbing. Can the human mind be altered? Can it be broken, reprogrammed, controlled? To find the answers, the CIA conducted experiments on a wide range of people: civilians, soldiers, prisoners, even hospital patients. And most of the time, it was done without their consent or knowledge. People were given powerful hallucinogens like LSD without being told what it was. They were placed in long-term isolation, exposed to extreme sensory deprivation, and subjected to sleep deprivation, hypnosis, and psychological torture. The results were devastating. Some people lost their grip on reality entirely. Others never recovered. When the program was finally exposed in the 1970s, the CIA director ordered most of the files to be destroyed. What we know today is only a fraction of the full story, pieced together from the documents that survived the purge. Now, think about 11, a child taken from her mother at a young age, completely separated from the outside world, placed in isolation, locked away in a lab, submerged in a sensory deprivation tank, forced by a manipulative father figure to access something hidden deep inside her mind, a power they wanted to weaponize. Stranger Things never mentions MKUltra by name. It doesn't have to. The blueprint is right there, clear as day. The Stereolab, the unethical experiments on a child, the pursuit of psychic abilities for espionage, all a mirror of a real, historical program. But the story gets even stranger. Before the show was set in the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana, the creators originally planned to set it in New York. And that choice was anything but random. Montauk is the home of one of America's most persistent and controversial conspiracy theories, the Montauk Project. This theory revolves around alleged secret government experiments conducted at a place called Camp Hero or the Montauk Air Force Station. According to supposed whistleblowers and researchers who have looked into these claims, the experiments involve psychological warfare, manipulating electromagnetic fields to influence human thought, and even attempts at time travel. And a central element of the Montauk Project legend is the use of gifted psychic children, often abducted and forced to participate. They were called the Montauk Boys. Sound familiar? Now, is every detail of the Montauk Project proven? Absolutely not. It exists in that gray area between myth and potential reality, but the overlap with documented history like MKUltra and the striking parallels with the plot of Stranger Things are too significant to ignore. The Duffer Brothers didn't invent these ideas out of thin air. They inherited them from decades of Cold War paranoia and declassified files. This brings us to the Upside Down. In the show, it's a terrifying alternate dimension that mirrors our own world but is decaying and filled with monsters. But it's also a powerful metaphor. It represents a shadow reality, a hidden layer of existence that most people never see, living their normal lives completely unaware. Just like secret government programs, just like classified experiments conducted on citizens, just like truths that have been buried under decades of official silence and destroyed documents, the upside down is the darkness lurking right beneath the surface of the familiar. And why set the show in the 1980s? It wasn't just for the cool music and nostalgia. That era was saturated with a very specific kind of fear. There was the constant, looming threat of nuclear war with the Soviet Union. There was the cultural panic over infiltration of hidden enemies living among us. And there was a growing anxiety that science and technology had gone too far, that we were meddling with forces we couldn't control. That fear was tangible. It was real. Stranger Things simply took that collective anxiety and gave it a shape. It gave it a face. So no, the series is not a documentary. The Mind Flayer isn't real. But it's not pure fiction either. It's a story woven from the threads of our own history. The monsters were invented, but the darkness that inspired them, that was not. And that, I think, is why the story unsettles us so deeply. Because we instinctively recognize that the most disturbing part of Stranger Things is what came from another dimension. It's what came from us. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the stories. See you next time.